History doesn't repeat, but financial patterns do. And today's story exposes one of the most powerful money mechanisms ever hidden from the public. Because what happened in the Petrodollar agreement still shapes global finance today. It's 2025, and the biggest deal in modern money history just ran out. If you're not watching, your savings, your paycheck, your whole standard of living all about to crumble in real time. For half a century, oil got priced in US dollars, every barrel sold anywhere. Every nation needed dollars to buy energy. That manufactured demand for American currency turned the United States into the strongest country on earth, even though we make almost nothing and owe almost everyone everything. But that system just ended. The media's silent. Your politicians aren't warning you because if you knew what's actually going down, you'd see it. The America you grew up in already finished. Dollar dominance dies with it. Most people won't catch it coming, but smart money already moved. They're in gold, farmland, foreign assets now. They get what every empire that wrecked its currency learned. The money you're holding only matters if other people believe it matters, and that belief, breaking right now, let me walk you through how we got here. Didn't start in 2025, started way back in 1971. August 15th, 1971. Richard Nixon goes on TV, tells everyone the United States is temporarily shutting the gold window. Translation: dollars aren't gold-backed anymore, just paper now. A promise Nixon's team knew that was trouble. Because if dollars are just paper, why would anybody take them? Why would foreign governments keep dollars sitting in reserves? Why would global trade happen in a currency backed by nothing? Answer came 3 years later, 1974. Rolls around, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger cuts a deal with Saudi Arabia. Simple deal, brilliant deal, evil deal. Works like this. Saudi Arabia, world's biggest oil exporter, agreed to price all their oil only in US dollars, no euros, no yen, no gold, dollars. In return, the United States would give military protection to the Saudi regime, sell them weapons, back their security against threats like Iran and Iraq. But here's the catch. That deal wasn't just with Saudi Arabia through OPEC. It reached almost every major oil-producing country on earth: Venezuela, Nigeria, UAE, Kuwait, all of them. Oil for dollars, dollars for oil. This built something never seen before in history. Artificial demand for U.S. currency. Because if you're Japan needing to import oil, you've got to buy dollars first. If you're Germany fueling your economy, you need dollars. If you're China building factories, you need dollars before anything else. This meant America could print unlimited cash, run huge trade deficits, pile up trillions in debt, and never face payback because the world needed dollars to function. We shipped out inflation, we pulled in goods, everyone else covered the cost. The petrodollar system wasn't just an agreement, it was the base of American power. More important than the military, more important than technology, because controlling global currency meant controlling global trade, and controlling global trade meant controlling everything. For 50 years, this worked. The dollar stayed the world's reserve currency. Not because of gold backing or economic muscle, but because of oil. Every country kept dollars in reserve. Every central bank bought U.S. Treasury bonds, and America got to borrow unlimited amounts at fake low interest rates because the world needed somewhere safe to stash their dollars. But here's what nobody mentioned. That agreement had an end date. We just crossed it. In 2023, Saudi Arabia quietly announced they wouldn't renew the petrodollar agreement. Wasn't front-page headlines, didn't blow up CNN, most Americans don't even know it happened. But in financial circles, in central banks, in the rooms that actually matter, everyone knows the foundation just split. And once a currency system built on confidence starts splitting, collapse speeds up fast. Saudi Arabia isn't dumb. Been getting ready for years, branching out, building ties with China, Russia, India. In 2023, they joined BRICS. The economic group literally built to challenge dollar power. They're taking yuan for oil sales to China now, talking rupees for sales to India, even discussing pricing oil in a basket of currencies or going back to gold-backed deals. Every move cuts dependence on the dollar. They're not the only ones. Let me hit you with numbers because the scale of what's happening is massive. In 2000, roughly 73% of global foreign exchange reserves sat in U.S. dollars. By 2020, that dropped to 59%. In 2024, under 55%. That might not sound wild, but in reserve currency terms, it's a free fall. Central banks dumping dollars faster than any time since World War II. China cut its U.S. Treasury holdings by over $300 billion since 2021. Russia ditched nearly all dollar reserves after 2014 sanctions, loaded up on gold. Instead, India's doing trade in rupees, skipping the dollar completely. Brazil and Argentina settling deals in their own money. Even France, supposedly an ally, cutting dollar exposure. The world's waking up to what should have been obvious all along. The emperor has no clothes. Dollars are backed by nothing except the promise that other people will keep accepting them. When that promise breaks, value disappears. Here's where it hits you personally. This isn't just geopolitics or central banks. This is your paycheck, your savings, your ability to buy food. Next year, dollar strength isn't about how hard you work or how productive America is. It's about artificial demand built by the petrodollar system. When that demand vanishes, supply of dollars stays the same. We printed trillions. But if the world doesn't need dollars anymore, all those dollars flood back home. That's called inflation, except it won't be the 6% or 8% you've been dealing with. It'll be the kind that destroys middle-class savings in months. Think about it. For 50 years, the world absorbed our inflation. We printed money, they held it in reserves or bought our bonds. Now, they're selling, diversifying, getting out. When those dollars come back, when foreign central banks dump treasury bonds, when trade moves to other currencies, your dollar's purchasing power collapses, import prices explode. Gas, electronics, clothing, medicine. Everything made outside America, which is almost everything, becomes unaffordable. Your savings lose value faster than you can spend them. And here's the part that should terrify you. Government can't stop it. Federal Reserve talks about controlling inflation, but their tools don't work when the problem is losing reserve currency status. They raise interest rates, economy crashes, debt becomes impossible to handle. They print more money. Inflation speeds up, pushed more countries away from the dollar. No good move. Checkmate, people in charge know it. That's why they're not talking about it. Because if the public got what's happening, panic would speed up collapse. Better keep everyone calm. Keep everyone clueless. Let disaster roll out slow enough. Most people don't connect dots until too late. But smart money already connected them. Let me show you what they're doing, because this is how you know it's real. When the richest, most informed people on Earth change what they're doing, pay attention. Billionaires buying farmland. Bill Gates now owns more farmland than anyone in America. Not because he wants to farm, because land produces food, and food holds value. No matter what happens to paper money, Ray Dalio, one of the world's top hedge fund managers, been screaming about dollar collapse for years, moved big chunks of his fund into gold and foreign currencies. Warren Buffett, historically a dollar believer, spreading Berkshire Hathaway's money into foreign stocks and commodities, central banks institutions that actually run currency buying gold at record levels, Russia, China, India, Turkey, Poland, all loading up on physical gold, cutting dollar reserves. In 2023 alone, central banks bought over 1,000 tons of gold, most in decades. Why? Because they know dollar reserve status is ending. When it does, hard assets like gold hold value while paper money collapses. Even corporations hedging, Tesla, MicroStrategy, other major companies put parts of their cash reserves into Bitcoin and alternatives. not because they believe in crypto ideology, because they don't trust the dollar long term. These aren't conspiracy theorists or doomers, most successful, best-informed financial players on Earth, voting with their money, voting against the dollar. Meanwhile, your financial advisor probably still tells you keep most money in dollar bonds and index funds. Either clueless or lying, either way, you lose. Let's talk about what happens next. Petrodollar ending isn't the final crash, it's the first domino. Here's the cascade. First, oil-producing nations start taking other currencies. Already happening. China pays Saudi Arabia in yuan, India uses rupees. This drops global dollar demand. Second, countries holding massive dollar reserves start selling. Don't want to be last one stuck. Russia already did this, China doing it slowly. Others will follow. When they sell, treasury bond prices fall, interest rates spike. Third, rising rates make U.S. government debt impossible to sustain. We're already at $36 trillion in national debt. Interest payments alone approaching $1 trillion yearly. Rates keep climbing. That number doubles or triples. At some point, only option is printing money to pay debt. Fourth, printing money to cover debt speeds up inflation. Prices climb. People demand higher wages. Companies raise prices more. Spiral starts. Fifth, inflation kills confidence in currency. People start hunting alternatives. Foreign currencies, gold, crypto. Flight from dollar speeds up. Here's the nightmare. Currency crisis triggers debt crisis. Debt crisis triggers banking crisis. Banking crisis triggers political crisis. Not one problem, system failure. When people can't afford food, they riot. When governments can't pay salaries, they collapse. When banks can't honor withdrawals, they shut down. The entire social contract depends on economic stability. That stability rests on currency confidence. We're watching that confidence break in real time. Look at the signs. Food prices up 25% since 2020. Energy costs spiking. Housing unaffordable for entire generations. Wages not keeping pace, credit card debt at record highs, not separate issues, symptoms of monetary collapse, dollar dying, everything priced in dollars showing that death. Let me give you historical context because this happened before. Every global reserve currency eventually fails. Spanish silver dollar ruled global trade in the 1600s. Collapsed. Dutch guilder was reserve currency of the 1700s. Collapsed. British pound sterling dominated the 1800s and early 1900s. Collapsed. After World War II, Britain so broke they couldn't even keep their empire. Pound went from global power to regional currency in 2 decades. Dollar's been reserve since 1944. That's 80 years. Actually longer than most reserve currencies last. Every single one ended same way. Overextension. Endless wars, massive debt, currency destruction, finally loss of confidence. We're watching exact same pattern play out. Wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, military bases in 150 countries, trillion-dollar defense budgets while infrastructure crumbles at home. The $36 trillion debt never getting repaid. Money printing to cover deficits, every symptom there, diagnosis clear, terminal decline. But here's what makes 2025 different from past reserve currency shifts. In the past, when one currency declined, another replaced it smoothly. Guilder gave way to pound. Pound gave way to dollar. Continuity existed. This time, no clear successor. Euro, even worse than dollar. China's yuan, controlled by authoritarian government manipulating everything, nobody trusts it. Bitcoin and crypto too volatile, not scalable for global trade. Gold can't be used for daily transactions in digital economy. We're heading into a world where there's no dominant reserve currency, called multipolar currency system, and it's chaos. Exchange rates swing wildly. Trade becomes more expensive. Trust breaks down. Countries start demanding payment in their own money or barter deals. Global trade shrinks, supply chains break apart. Not smooth shift, breakdown. Speed will shock people. Currency crises don't take decades, they accelerate. Look at recent examples. Venezuela went stable to hyperinflation in 5 years. Turkey's lira lost 80% value in a decade. Argentina collapsed so many times they stopped counting. Turkey's G20 nation couldn't stop currency death once started. America's bigger, sure. More resources, military power, institutional strength, but also more debt, more import dependence, population completely unprepared for hardship. Crisis hits here, won't be slow fade stampede. Everyone tries exiting dollars at once. Not enough exits. Government will try stopping it. Put in capital controls, make it illegal moving money overseas. Force retirement accounts buying treasury bonds. Ban gold ownership like 1933. Create digital dollar they can track and control. Every transaction monitored, every purchase approved or denied. Not paranoia, what every failing government does when currency collapses. Lock down, confiscate, control. Because letting people escape means admitting failure. Governments never admit failure till too late. By the time they acknowledge problem, your money already trapped, 401k already destroyed, savings already worthless. They'll tell you it's for your good. Stability, security. Greater good, really just buying time while ship sinks. So what do? First, normalcy bias will destroy you. Belief. Things go back to normal. Government fixes it. Someone saves you poison belief, not fixable. Math doesn't work. Debt can't be repaid. System terminal. Accept that. Second, diversify out of purely dollar assets, not giving financial advice, but historically people survive. Currency collapse, holding assets, keeping value. Real estate, commodities, foreign currency, precious metals, productive assets like businesses, farmland, things valuable regardless what paper money does. Third, cut debt, increase flexibility. Currency collapses. Debtors can win if debt inflates away but only surviving chaos between. Lose job or can't access credit. Debt becomes noose, safest spot, minimal debt, maximum flexibility, portable skills. Build networks, community, systems fail. People survive working together. Neighbors, family, local community, these relationships matter more than any investment. Fifth, educate yourself. Everything I'm telling you, verifiable. Petrodollar history, reserve currency patterns, current de-dollarization trend, all public information, most people not looking, information there. Warnings clear. Whether you act determines which side of crisis you land on. Petrodollar system, always temporary. Built on power and convenience, not sound economics. For 50 years gave America privileges no nation ever had. Print money, world accepts it valuable. Run deficits without payback. Maintain empire on borrowed money, borrowed time. But empires end. Currencies fail. Patterns always same. Not facing unprecedented crisis, facing same crisis destroying Rome, Spain, Britain. Every power-wrecking currency-thinking party never ends. Script written, just watch and play out live. Petrodollar dies 2025. Dollar dominance dies with it. Most Americans blindsided because nobody in power admits what's happening. But you know now. Seen pattern, understand timeline. Question isn't whether this happens, whether you prepare before too late. History shows currency collapse, most predictable disaster in economics, happens same every team. Overextension, debt, money printing, lost confidence, collapse, actors change, technology changes, sequence identical, Roman denarius, Spanish real, French assignat, German papier-mark, British pound. Everyone followed same path, dollars no different, not special, not exempt, just next in line. People seeing this coming have chance. People ignoring learn same lesson millions learned. Paper money dies. Hard assets survive.